Hello, everyone. Welcome to Moon Mage. Today's tarot messages are connected to the full moon in Scorpio that's happening on May 12th. So this is pick a messages, 1 through 4. I always tell everybody to look at the images and feel into which one is speaking to you, and that will be your message regarding the energies that are coming your way around this full moon in Scorpio that's happening. If you're not interested in hearing about the energies that this full moon in Scorpio could be potentially bringing your way, just go ahead down to the description box, pick your message, and you can skip over this part. But for those of you that are interested, this full moon in Scorpio is rather intense. Expect the unexpected with this energy. Full moons are always about illuminating, bringing things to culmination, seeing things more clearly. And this one's not any exception. It could be quite dramatic with big emotional endings, severing, cutting away, things coming to light, truths being revealed. It could be quite dramatic is really what I'm trying to say here with this full moon. It's intense emotional energy. So we're going to want to be really careful about how we navigate it. And we're going to want to make sure that our energy is in good standing, that we're balanced. Otherwise, we could really lean into conflict in connections, relationships. Jealousy and anger could come to the surface, creating more conflict. It's quite dramatic, again, with this intense emotional energy that this full moon in Scorpio is bringing. The moon is in its fall when it's in Scorpio. So that just adds another layer of frustration here, and it's opposing Taurus. So Taurus is all about stability and security, the day-to-day life, and they crave that. They crave stability and structure and kind of routine, whereas Scorpio wants to be connected to the unseen realms, to connecting to truth, to their emotions. So there's a bit of a battle of wills that's going on with this opposition. So we're going to want to be careful with that too. I think the idea here is to try to bring the two together, bringing our emotional world and our practical everyday life together rather than having this battle of the wills between these two opposing signs. The focus on this particular full moon is connected to endings, revelations, transformation. Old emotional baggage and trauma could resurface. So this moon is actually really good for introspection, reflection, self-care, self-discovery, setting long-term goals, creating healthy boundaries, and releasing old thought patterns, people, situations that no longer serve us, right? So it's really good for spiritual connection. If we have time, we should create time for this and going within. We are very likely to receive a lot of spiritual connection information, almost like there's almost this energy for some of us. We could have a big spiritual awakening at this time, epiphanies, aha moments, just feeling really clear. It's really good for that. It's not so good for moving along with our emotional energy that we can feel is out of balance when we're feeling anger, conflicted, especially if it's because there's been some sort of revelation that's hard or difficult to wrap your brain around, or a truth that's been delivered in a way that's hard to take. So we want to be really careful there and lean into the good energies that this full moon brings rather than the harder ones. I would say that the best thing that we can all do for ourselves at this time is meditation work, journaling, making self-care a massive priority, even setting some time aside for spiritual connection, whatever that looks like for you, however you feel like you're receiving spiritual messaging and truth and having your intuition heightened. For some, that looks like doing things like being out in the garden and walking through nature. But for others, it's sitting still. I really do recommend this as something that would be beneficial to all of us. But do expect the unexpected. There could be some emotionally intense endings and truths delivered that could be quite difficult for some of you. So just a heads up. Now, if you haven't already, have a look at those images, and we will look at the energies that this full moon is highlighting for you. And we'll get started here in just a minute with message number 1. Hello, message 1. I pre-pulled the main overarching energies as I normally do just to save a little bit of time in the video, but we are going to look at them together. So right out of the gate, we have balanced spirituality and practicality, which is funny because I was talking about this in my intro, and it is so important under this full moon. And this full moon is happening in a water sign as well. It's the full moon in Pisces. So some of you might have some Piscean energy within you. basically this is suggesting you might be having a lot of emotional energy around you at this time. So really wanting to be mindful of how you can bring that emotional energy, put it towards spirituality, and then draw it down into your everyday life, finding a balance between the two. This full moon is actually really supportive of coming into this energy. So finding a way to bring those two into balance, really good idea for my message one choosers. Last quarter moon in Libra energy. So now we've got Libra energy. And I bring this up because that could be significant for some of you. You might have strong Libra energy around you. You may be a Libra. You may have strong Libra placements. And it's saying make time for self-love, balance spirituality and practicality. I feel like there might be some emotional dissonance here for some of you, or something that's happened that's affected you emotionally. And this is your heads up from the universe that it's time to find a way through that energy, bring it back into balance, because you don't have to choose between your everyday practical life and your spiritual life. They should be brought into coherence and harmony. But it's coming out on the side of challenge, suggesting that making time for the self-love and self-care has been difficult for you. First quarter moon in Sagittarius. Now we've got fire energy. We've got fire, water, and air. But what's lacking so far is earth energy, that practicality, that grounded energy. So that may be a little piece of the puzzle here for you, message one, that you might be missing a little bit of that groundedness, feeling present, feeling in your body, feeling like you're living in the moment and in the now. This says believe in your good luck. So this tells me that there's something on the other side of whatever emotional upheaval you're dealing with or could be moving towards. There is a way through it, and there is positivity on the other side. But finding your way through balance and bringing the two together and getting really grounded, making yourself and your self-care a priority is the way to get into this energy of good luck. We'll pull some more cards to see what else we're dealing with here for you guys. It's funny, though, that you've got the air, the water, and the fire, but we're lacking that earthy, grounded energy. I very much relate to that. That tends to be my story as well. But I definitely think that's a thing here for some of you, finding ways to be more grounded, present, centered in your body, that energy of balance. I get the sense that a lot of you are probably quite intuitive and empathic, and that can often cause us to go off the rails a little bit and get lost in the sauce, and it can be really hard to ground that higher, heightened spiritual energy into our bodies. I don't know why, but I feel like for some of you that might be a thing. Yeah, look at this. Make time for self-love, finding balance, believing in your good luck. And then we've got lighten your load on the side of challenge, taking on too much, carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. I do think that you are quite empathic. You might be somebody that people come to for help, and you're quick to say yes because you've got a big heart. But it's time to lighten your load and make time for you. This is how you will find your way back to balance and a way to bring your internal spiritual, emotional world in harmony with your everyday life, so you don't have to choose. And I really think it's very much connected to positive energy on the other side of coming into this balance and relieving yourself of burdens that aren't yours to carry. Healing, yeah. Okay, you know what I think here, message one? I think some of you have the ability to heal others with your energy. I think I get a very strong spiritual energy from you guys. But I also think that in order for us to show up as our best self and heal others with our beautiful energy, we need to be balanced. We need to heal ourselves first, right? It starts with us. And I think that's part of this healing. I think that you have the potential to heal out some of these burdens, these disharmonies where you don't feel like you can bring your spiritual life and your practical life together. I think that you're coming into a time where you're going to see how to do that, but it does require you to step back and make space for yourself, make yourself a priority, get centered, get grounded. And then you have this positive luck, and it's fiery and it's passionate because it's Sagittarius energy on the other side of that. Yeah. Okay. Let's pull some more tarot cards here. You know, I'm looking at that last quarter moon in Libra energy here on the side of challenge. And Libra is the scales, right? So it's also kind of reaffirming and echoing that need for balance. Okay, I've got a couple cards that just fell down. So that means 3, actually. That's crazy. All right. All right. Nothing else is flying out, so. The moon. Yeah. So when the moon comes up right like this, and it's on the side of challenge, carrying too much, and needing to find balance in our spiritual world and our practical world, our emotional selves too. The moon card shows up like this to say that there's a bit of a block there. You can't receive that. You've not been able to receive intuitive messaging, higher mind, wisdom, that spiritual connection. It feels like there's a longing for it, but there's too much going on, too busy, maybe leaning more into the Taurian energy that this Scorpio energy opposes. And it might be time to go back in and say, okay, I'm going to allow myself to lean more into that Scorpio energy this time. But first, I'm going to get grounded and get balanced, because there is something of more than just a healing that's going to take place as a result of this. I really do feel like you're going to come into some kind of wisdom, guidance, understanding, massive connection spiritually. But a bit of a block there right now. Yep. Okay. So we've got Four of Swords in the reverse, suggesting that you just have not been taking a time out for more rest. Another reiteration of how important this is for you. It keeps coming out in all these different tarot decks of how necessary it is for you to give yourself over to self-love, self-care, rest, finding a way back into balance. I almost wonder, have some of you been through something really hard and you've been the one to take on the challenges of this hard thing and bearing all the burdens of it? It feels like it's your time, it's your turn rather to receive rather than give. Yeah, Queen of Wands in the reverse, not feeling that passion, that inspiration, not feeling connected, right? And we have that showing up for you further down the road if you were to take this advice and step back and get into balance, coming into that Queen of Wands energy, which I think you naturally have the ability to be, but there's a big disconnect from it right now. Seven of Pentacles, right? And that's all about choices, right? Being able to make good choices and feeling like we're coming from a good place to see clearly and get really decisive. And because it's Pentacles, it's connected to your structure, your foundation in your life, prosperity potentially, financial acumen, how you move forward and grow something. But there's a block that needs to be released here for my group ones. Yeah, the Star. I love to see that. That's a beautiful energy coming your way, right? With believe in your good luck. Good luck. You've got arms up there like they're receiving this divine energy. I really think this is a thing for some of my group ones. I really think you're going to, if you give yourself over to this, you're going to have some massive spiritual connection. Almost feels like it could be like shocking, where you're questioning, like, did that really just happen? It feels like that. The Star is all about hope. Leaning into hope, going into trust, going into belief, drawing down that spiritual energy. And that's exactly where you're headed. If you give yourself over to finding balance for yourself, to self-care, to love, to healing out these heavier, harder burdens and energies that you've been carrying, this is where you get to, message one. But it feels like it's very difficult for you to make yourself a priority and not be the one to go in and help and fix everybody. And I really think that's because you're very empathic, you're very giving, you're loving, you're a light worker of sorts. And I think that some of you are more comfortable giving than receiving. All right, let's pull some more cards. I get this feeling of such a beautiful soul, an old soul energy that has so much to offer, but in a different way than the way that you've been currently doing it. And you can't get to that energy and that positivity because you're so busy taking care of everything else, troubleshooting. And I think there has been some hard things. And because this is, future energy potentially, you might be coming into this. So keep this in mind. If you've not touched on this harder energy that's caused you to feel imbalanced, where you're having to take on a lot, keep this in mind, because you can't pour from an empty cup. I do suspect that some of you, because this is general, have had some hardships when it comes to your finances and your foundation and stability, feeling like there just isn't enough. I feel like by doing nothing, by ebbing back, going within and retreating a little bit, introspective, reflective, you will receive the answers through these situations. You'll know what to do with that luck coming in for you and that Star energy showing up. It's like, ask and you shall receive. I let go, I release, I am within perfect possibility. That would be a fantastic affirmation for you to use. I let go, I release, I am within perfect possibility. Is that going to stay there for me? There we go. I accept and create more flow and pleasure in my life under that balance, spirituality, and practicality. So I do think you guys are more leaning into the practical side of things right now for good reason, or you feel like you have to be, but you can create flow. You can bring some harmony. It's never likely to be perfect. I mean, it's a unicorn to say that we're always going to be in balance, but I feel like you can get a lot closer to it than you are. I accept and create more flow and pleasure in my life. Absolutely. Believe in your good luck, the star card, coming into decisiveness and watching it grow in a really positive way. And then you've got, I see the gateway is open and the pathway is clear. My journey begins, right? This healing energy is so necessary for you guys. It's so necessary that you give yourself over to it and allow space for it. It is probably one of the best things you can do as far as work goes for your life. Yes, because you've got some sort of opening and change as a result of leaning into this healing energy. My journey begins. Yeah. A new way forward, I think, wants to show up for you. And the truths of how to do that and what to do to create this energy in your life is forthcoming. But you do need to be in a really good standing. You need to be feeling grounded and present, balanced, harmonious again. I keep getting this energy of everything is within perfect possibility, like with perfect possibility there. Perfect possibility. I almost wonder, because it's dark moon energy down there, if some of you have touched on a way through and forward around your difficult situation. I do think for some of you, it has to do with your foundation, security, prosperity, finances, things of that nature. I almost wonder if some of you have already touched on it, but easy come, easy go. It came in quickly and then it went out just as quickly. Almost like, look again. I don't know why I'm feeling like that. I feel like that's a thing for some of you. You might revisit a thought, an idea that you had. Okay. New beginnings is number 101. So pay attention to ones and zeros. Ones are new beginnings, and zeros is the God force energy where it's a destined thing, where that luck is showing up for you. It's really being brought to you. So keep that in mind. New beginnings, personal development, prioritizing creativity, a new phase in a religious or spiritual quest. You're going through a spiritual awakening, which can feel like the dark night of the soul. You're on the path to enlightenment, and this too shall pass. Okay, wow. Yes, that spiritual awakening energy that I was feeling right out of the gate. Some of you might be like, this is freaking me out. And so you're pushing it to the side, or this is frustrating me, or I'm having a hard time trusting that this is happening. And it is. And there's this opportunity to heal out old things, old patterns, old beliefs, baggage, essentially, that you just don't need anymore, so that you don't carry it forward with you. Because I think that you're going to be asked to step up in a more spiritual way moving forward. But it starts here with getting into balance. Yeah, you're on the path to enlightenment, and this too shall pass. Heaviness, burdens, worries, concerns, taking on everybody's worries, troubles, and sorrows. It's not for you to carry. Message 1. I keep getting this energy of look to who your helpers are. Where are the helpers? Where are the helpers? So perhaps some of you need to consider that. Who around you can you trust with whatever it is that you feel like you have to be the one carrying or doing? Look to the helpers. Okay. Oh my goodness. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. All these zeros, God force energy. So strength, obstacles, hardship, strength, building character and experience. There might be some difficulties ahead, but you will push through. You got this. If you have been struggling or feeling lost, the winds of change will blow in your favor. If you've been suffering or feeling lost, some things may fall apart, but you're building the framework for something much better. Hang in there. That goes so well with this new beginnings. It almost feels like it should go like this. like strength over here and then new beginnings over here, because that's the result of moving through these hard things. So if some of you haven't connected to it, take this as a heads up, not to be feared, but that the best way through is to pause, get balanced, get centered, heal out, go within, give yourself space for that, because this is where epiphanies come from. This is where balance gets restored. This is where your spiritual team comes in to bring in that healing that you need so that you can see the way through and forward. But this is not something that you're meant to do all by yourself. You're not meant to carry all these burdens. They're not all yours to manage and handle, message one. I just keep hearing, look to the helpers. We've got raccoon energy. So raccoons could be bringing messages. If you happen to see one, pay attention to what you were thinking or feeling or doing at that time. You could also just look up the type of energy they bring, because there's some sort of they're acting as some kind of a messenger for you at this time. It says, decide on what you really want. You have the ingenuity to claim it. Avoid being the trickster and practice integrity. You have many roles and can juggle them all. Can juggle them well, sorry. And you've got that light in your load there, right? So you do have many things, many gifts, many talents. You're a very creative person. But where are you expending energy that you just don't need to be? That's start there, message one. Either way, decide on what you really want and make sure that what you want and your actions are aligned, because you can juggle these things once you come back into balance. So I am going to leave that there. I really hope all of you give yourself over to this self-care and this healing energy that wants to show up for you, because I really feel like there's really positive things and really good new beginnings coming your way that are prosperous as a result of you doing just that. All right, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care. Hello, message two. So I pulled the main overarching energies, as I usually do, just to save some time in the video, but we're going to look at these together. Communication is key, and it's saying new moon in Gemini, which is actually, is that the next moon that's coming up? It is. It's the next new moon will be in Gemini. So there could be something significant that happens in and around that time. New moon in Gemini energy. Communication is key. Okay. Now we've got full moon in Virgo energy. It's really funny because this, that Virgo energy is very similar, not exactly, of course, to that Taurian energy, which is opposing the Scorpio full moon that's happening right now. It's about getting really real and practical, creating a really solid foundation around something. And it looks to me so far that might be something that you're going to be asked to do while using really good communication, because it's coming on the side of challenge. So maybe you have not come into this understanding, knowing what it is that you need to do just yet, but I feel like you will. Maybe even some of you have are Virgos or have, sun, moon, or rising in Virgo or strong placements there. Sometimes your lot of fortune too can be in Virgo, which suggests that you have a lot of luck when you use Virgoian energy, which is like energy of practicality, making things happen, being really organized. And then we've got, okay, new moon in Aquarius, open up to change. Open up to change. So, okay, another little thing, because we've got this inspired action on this side, which is the side of challenge. You could be feeling uninspired right now, or perhaps you're not looking far enough ahead or afield or outside of the box, really just not being that open to out of the box thinking, maybe trying to stick to routine, the tried and true thing, which is very Virgoian as well. And so maybe you need to lean into Aquarian energy, that mindset more, adaptability, innovation. If it's coming out, it's because you do have the potential to do this and reach that kind of energy and understanding, but you must be willing to kind of step a toe into the pool of discomfort and be a little bit more innovative with your thoughts and thinking. And as this says, it all comes back to communication style for you guys. Okay, let's pull some more cards here for you guys. You've got two air energies too, right? One being more in a more difficult position and one being in a more positive. I feel like it's sort of steps here for you guys where it's like if you can lean into that Aquarian energy of innovative thinking outside the box, it brings about powerful changes. Then you can lean into taking that inspired action, that Virgoian energy of setting the tone, creating the foundation, and building upon it. Life purpose. Wow. Okay. So this is definitely connected to your life purpose, and you may not be leaning into it at this time. That Virgo energy, earth energy, we've got a sense of needing to be very grounded too at this time, really being in your body and centered, not kind of all over the place. I almost get the sense that some of you might be overlooking your own gifts, talents, and abilities, or pushing to the side because they don't feel safe or secure in some kind of way. Pay attention to that, because I feel like you're coming into a time and energy, especially around this full moon happening in Scorpio, where you might have some light shed on what it is you're actually meant to be doing. I think it is involved, it's connected to and centered in around some form of communication. And it's time to lean into this energy a bit more, give it more credence, give it more space to grow. Especially if some of you guys have been feeling like, I feel like I'm just going through the motions, but I'm not necessarily feeling inspired or connected. It's because there's a different way through it, and there's more to know and understand around this thing. And it is absolutely connected to your life purpose. Fertility. Okay. So on a very, metaphorical level, fertility just means things growing. New ways forward, a new way of being, that new life purpose, the creative energy, being inspired and watching this thing grow. So this is a really strong influence in and around you at this time. You might be somebody that with this full moon's energy in Scorpio, where you connect to some truths, you see a way through and forward. And it is going to require some innovative thinking and communication, really good communication, to make this thing happen. But again, I keep coming back. I'm so pulled to this card. I keep coming back to, you might have to change things up from the way that you've been doing it. You might have to be open to a new way forward and through, something a little bit more creative. And, ultimately more aligned with you, even if it doesn't seem like that right now. This inspiration, though, that you might feel, I almost wonder if some of you have already felt this inspiration and you haven't acted on it. So be mindful of that too. If you start to get inspired or excited about something, even if it feels scary or daunting, you want to pull on that thread. It's happening. It's coming up for you for a reason. And I'm noticing there's so many moons in around this tree. So I really do think some of you are going to have some sort of spiritual communication come your way at the time of this full moon. And you don't want to discredit it or discount it. You want to lean into what it has to say and tell you, even if it seems strange, I want to say, for some of you. It doesn't hurt to explore it a little bit or research it a little bit. All right. Yeah, Ace of Pentacles in reverse, challenge, right? Financial new beginnings potentially, or something that feels solid that you can create a foundation on from the ground up, like in a new sense, in a new way, being difficult. And that's just reiterating that with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. The Star, yeah. So there's a bit of a disconnect to hope, possibility, trust, faith. These are energies you want to find a way to bring back into you, reconnect to, right? Because this is where inspiration comes from. It's divine wisdom and inspiration. It's that communication that's lacking. You want to lean into these energies as much as possible. I almost feel like using positive affirmations when you catch yourself in negative thinking or not trusting or not feeling safe and secure would be a good idea for you guys, because it's showing up as something that's been very challenging for you. I also get the sense that some of you have received some wisdom and guidance, but maybe have not allowed yourself to even entertain it. But this is the way forward, right? Being open to this change in fertility, the growth of some kind, is being more spiritually open, allowing for that nuanced way of thinking to show up for you, sort of not digging into the fixed energy. And there's a lot of fixed energy with this full moon. So be mindful of that. Scorpio is a fixed energy, and so is Taurus. They like to dig their heels in about what they think and they believe and they know to be true, when really it's the opposite of that. It's sort of like doing a 180 and looking in an opposite direction and going, oh my gosh, there it is. That's the answer. I know what to do. And then trusting that, following it, right? But been a difficult thing for you. Yeah, 3 of Wands in reverse. That's that passion, that inspiration, feeling ready to go, not quite kicked in yet. Although I will say, with it being in reverse, sometimes it can suggest that you do take the initiative, you do move forward, and you do say, okay, screw it. I feel this. I'm going to go with it. And whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to trust that this inspiration that I've received, this communication that's coming my way. I also think that there's a requirement for my group 2s, my message 2s, to be more communicative and speak how you feel, what it is you want, what it is you desire, to make this thing happen. Yeah, magic. The Magician in the reverse. Not owning your power and your magic, right? Creativity and creative thought, out of the box thinking, really, really missing here. And I think it stems back to, it doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel secure. I've lost a little bit of that faith, trust, and hope, maybe for good reason, because maybe some of you have had a lot of hardship or perceived failures and you just don't want to go through that again. But I feel like it's kind of the requirement here for you guys to catapult into a new way of being, doing, and seeing real growth. There's a bit of a disconnect from your true life's purpose. I think you've leaned in partially, but not fully, message 2. Yeah, the Tower, and it's in the reverse. No, nothing, no major changes, right? Open to change, no change, stalled momentum. Nothing's happening, nothing's moving forward. That growth, that expansion, that desire that you feel it can't happen because there's some pieces, some elements, and some key things missing. And I feel like out of fear for some of you, I'm afraid to look at that. I'm afraid to go in that direction, to ask for this thing, to trust it. I'd be very curious to know if some of you have been, in the energy or a pattern of not believing in yourself because you have some perceived failures from the past and you're using it as a measuring stick as to what you can and cannot do. I think that you're more powerful, more magical, more creative than you give yourself credit for. And these are all the energies that this full moon is asking you to lean into, because no change will result if you keep doing the same thing over and over again. And it's not as aligned with your soul, your life's purpose, your heart as it could be. Yeah, taking inspired action, being communicative. I think receiving communication too for a lot of you. There's something I think too that some of you are afraid to walk away from because it does bring stability and security, even though it's not sitting or it's not resonating with you anymore. Like you're feeling a disconnect from it, dissatisfaction with life as a result of being in this position or being where you are, and really, really craving change. It's like your soul whispering to you, it's time to change. This feels quite profound for my message 2s. I can guide and lead others wisely and with love, meant to be a leader of some sort. So if you're in a role right now where you're not taking the lead, this is like a little piece of the pie here. This is something that Spirit wants to highlight so that you can change and move more towards a leadership role. I can guide and lead others with wisely and with love. Also, it could be a message for some of you who are in a leadership role. If you're doubting yourself or your ability to move the situation forward, especially if there's been difficulty, if something difficult comes up or transpires under this full moon, you've got this. You do. Just think outside the box and you'll receive the best way through and forward. I feel like there's multiple messages for my group 2s, but the underlying and overlying message is being open to change and being willing to do things slightly differently, being more innovative, leaning in on inspiration and going back into trust and faith. This is how change is cultivated for you guys, and owning your power, your magic. I choose to nourish myself and enrich my life, open to change, right? Nothing new can happen and no change can be cultivated if we are not open, if we are not willing to try it a different way, do things a different way, see things from a new perspective. I feel like that's a big message for you guys. And it is nourishing, right? It's exciting to learn new things and to implement them. And I feel like this is definitely the way through for my message to choosers. And it will enrich your life in really positive ways and cultivate that change that your soul, I feel your soul is, you haven't caught up to your soul, the whispers of your soul yet. Your soul is really trying to get you to understand that this is the way through and forward. You must be willing to take some calculated risks. Yeah, okay. It's funny because I don't know why I keep getting this like image of an airplane. It's like when the announcer comes off on the oh my gosh, I can't even think of what it's called, the radio, or they make the announcement like, are you ready for liftoff? And it's this feeling and energy for some of my group 2 choosers of, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Like a little bit of fear there. But your soul knows that you are ready. Even if your physical self, your earthly person doesn't agree or hasn't caught up to that energy just yet. Pleasure. Okay, so 0s and 2s could be quite significant for my group 2 choosers. Leisure, rest, holiday, pleasure, love, affection, kindness, and happiness. You are worthy of affection, leisure, and pleasure. If you tell your family and friends how you feel, you'll find that you're all on the same page and can work together effectively. Many people are rooting for you. If you spread love, it will find its way back to you multiplied. Ooh, I love that message for you guys. Pay attention to 0s and 2s because they're going to be bringing you messages from the divine and helping you navigate your situation. Maybe you're the leader, the head of the family, or you need to be more of the head of the family. But communication again, right? Needing to tell your family and your friends how you actually feel, not holding back for fear that, right? Really speaking your mind and allowing your voice to be heard, expressing what it is you want, and allowing yourself more flow, more effortlessness, letting that change show up for you. And it starts with joy, pleasure, rest, holiday, love, affection. All these kinds of energies are very up-leveling to our own energetic field. They really do raise our vibration and bring us into a much better energy. And from that point is where we can create and see really beautiful things as a result. So if some of you have been wanting to take a holiday or have had a thought about how to bring this kind of joy back into your life, I feel like it's yes energy for you guys. Go with that. You're in flow with it. You're connected to a good thing. Soul mission. Wow. And then you've got life purpose up here. 2 messages definitely coming through here. Independence, soul mission, alone time, learning, healing, and aspirations. Take a few deep breaths and focus inward. You need time to think things over and consider your options. At this time, you must rely solely on yourself. You might not believe it, but you're heading in the right direction. What appears to be a lull in activity is just a natural part of the process. And I feel like this feels so apt for you guys. And I feel like that's absolutely true. This full moon in Scorpio is so good for introspection, reflection, and spiritual connection. And I think that you're somebody who will receive under this energy if you give yourself space for it regarding your soul mission and what it is you're meant to do, seeing clearly about how to move through it and lean into that change. Such a strong message too, to lean into faith, hope, and trust. Yeah, it's just a natural part of the process. If things feel stuck and stagnant, it's because there's more you're meant to know, receive. There's new ways to cultivate, to create, to make something happen that you just not touched on yet. But this full moon is going to be really optimal for you to do just that, right? You've got life purpose and soul mission. This is something very profound, very big that, the universe and spirit is saying, we really want to bring you this. There's some things that need to be healed out, information that needs to be brought to you. So 1s and 0s, 10, 10, very likely to be speaking to your soul at this time. So pay attention when those numbers show up. What were you thinking about? What were you feeling? There might be something to those thoughts, but it could also just be confirmation from spirit for you guys that, yeah, those thoughts are good. They're aligned. We want you to notice something when you are in this moment or whatever it is that you're doing at that moment. It's like we're around. I feel like for some reason, I feel like my message to choosers have a lot of spirit around you right now. all the more reason to give yourself space to connect and be more communicative and receive communication. And there's some sort of healing out. I think some sort of fear healing for you guys. Fear of what unknown, fear of taking a risk, fear of letting yourself be heard and expressing yourself and really stepping into your life's purpose and soul mission. I think I just bumped the camera. Sorry about that, guys. All right, let's just cap this off with one final message here. Keeper of secrets, and it's Lynx energy. Take time out from the world and be the observer. Nothing can deceive you when you trust your knowledge. You see others' secrets and keep them sacred. In silence and solitude, you will find your strength. Wow. Leaning into Lynx energy, maybe even calling the Lynx for their profound wisdom and characteristics and traits that you might need to utilize and capitalize on right now. Either way, taking time out from the world and being the observer is going to benefit you greatly. Message 2. And as it says, you see the other secrets. Being very intuitive, being very spiritually aware, and having an understanding of what's going on behind the scenes. This full moon is also very good for illuminating truths. So that could be something that's coming your way, seeing the truth of something and then making decisions from that place. Yeah, you will find your strength. I love that. It almost feels like for you guys, like secrets of the universe revealed and secrets of your own purpose and soul mission here revealed where you might have felt blocked before. Either way. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. I hope all of you guys have the most amazing, beautiful day. Take care, guys. Hello, message 3. So as I normally do, I pulled the main overarching energies that are coming into play at the time of this full moon, but we will look at them together. So we've got your hard work is paying off, and it's new moon in Capricorn, and Capricorn energy is so hardworking. So bit of a heads up that even if you're feeling a little frustrated right now, that your hard work really is paying off, even if you can't see that just yet. Hard work paying off. Oh, we've got another, is this another new moon energy? Okay. Focus on the positive, and it is coming on the side of challenge. I do think that there might be some frustration here because you can't see how the hard work is paying off. There's not a culmination yet. There's not fruition. You've got all this new energy showing up yet, suggesting that you've not quite culminated. It's not fully ready to be realized, to be brought into fruition, but you are going in the right direction and you're doing the right things. So there's a sort of a bit of a heads up too. Don't give up. Stay focused on what's going well, what you've done, giving yourself that proverbial pat on the back. And that's fiery energy too, right? Sagittarian energy. It's funny because it almost feels like going in the right direction. Focusing on the positive. Staying in gratitude is a really good thing, especially when we're frustrated because we feel like things aren't moving quick enough. And it's Gemini energy. And this is full moon energy that we've got here. Full moon and Gemini embrace the flow of life. You might have loud brain right now, maybe overthinking, overanalyzing, not feeling quite calm or centered, embracing the flow of life, going with the flow. This will bring more connection and more ability to see fruition, right? When we're going with the flow, because we're not pushing against anything or trying to force things to happen in our timeline, but we're trusting that it's happening in divine timing. There's definitely a thing here for me, for you guys. And because we're in this full moon in Scorpio, something may come to light, something may be understood more clearly or seen differently. It might even be that you're getting a heads up that you might need to make a change of some sort, and this full moon highlights that, and it could cause that frustration. I'm annoyed, I'm irritated, I'm stuck in negativity now, not really sure what to do, but going with the flow and embracing it and trusting that your hard work is going to pay off, and it might just be a bump in the road, is sort of like your heads up with this reading, I feel here, for my message 3 choosers. Let's see what else comes out with this. You know, I'm really attracted to that full moon in Gemini card with embracing the flow of life. I'm attracted to the fact that there's 2, right? Gemini is the twins. I almost wonder if some of you, there's some duality there. Like if you're dealing with somebody with a different way of doing things, a different perspective, something that kind of bumps up against yours, and that could create some dissonance. And meanwhile, there's a sense that it could create a bridge if you look again and open to one another's perspective. This is general, so that's probably not going to be for everyone. Just something about that for me. All right. Closure. Yeah. Closure. One thing, this full moon really does highlight endings too. And if you didn't watch the intro, I did talk about that, how it can highlight endings that can be feeling quite emotional and intense. I'm wondering if it has anything to do with that connection, who's somebody who you're not seeing eye to eye, where there's a different perspective. A bridge can be created to create a healthier ending, or I don't know, to embrace a new way. But either way, on the side of challenge, you've got closure. So it may be that you're being asked to put an end to something, or that this film is highlighting what needs to come to an end, or it's just going to bring an ending. And this could be a little destabilizing. So just a bit of a heads up there. Ooh, prosperity though, on the other side of this. Okay. Embracing the flow, letting go of something, not giving up, especially if you're heading into some hardship or bumps or problems that you didn't see coming, that you're having to troubleshoot and work through, and letting something come to an end, allowing for closure on something, putting it to bed, putting it to rest. But it's coming on the side of challenge, suggesting there's been something difficult for many of you to walk away from, to let go of, and it's affecting your prosperity in some kind of way. Message 3. And the energy of patience comes up as well, right? With trusting that your hard work is paying off. You're still in this new energy and beginning stages of things. Growth is coming. It's just going to take some time. Going with the flow. Okay, let's pull some tarot. You know, it's funny too, because Sagittarius and Gemini are in opposition. They oppose each other in the astrological wheel. And so this needing to focus on the positive and embracing flow, it seems like it's coming into real contention for you guys. Not being able to find a balance between that. That might be the bridge that I'm feeling that needs to happen, right? You need to focus on the positive and embrace the flow, creating a bridge there instead of bumping up against the frustration, seeing only what's not working, what's difficult, and then that blocks flow. It's like that. I think that's what it is. But I think this would be a really good time for my message 3 choosers to look at what might you be having a difficult time letting go of, putting an end to. Where might you need closure that hasn't otherwise happened that would bring in more prosperity, flow, and connection? Ooh, 7 of Swords. Okay. Knight of Pentacles. Okay. This feels like something you didn't see coming. Page of Cups. 4 of Cups in reverse, seeing the truth about something. King of Pentacles in reverse. I don't know why, but for your reading, I feel like I need to pull one more card. I've been doing just the 5, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. Yes, 4 of Wands, some sort of, okay. So, okay, celebration, victory, passion reignited. All right. Message 3. Focusing on the positive and needing to put a closure on something. I feel like some of you have dealt with almost like finances being leaked out of a situation, you know, not seeing the sneaky underhanded thing that was going on. Somebody untrustworthy in your life, almost like mental manipulation. Coming into the truth of this though, right? Seeing a way through it, seeing a way to more prosperity, but it does require you to think outside the box a little bit, to embrace that flow energy and trust that you're doing the right things and that you will see that prosperity eventually. Because Page of Cups asks us to be more innovative, more dreamy, more going and leaning in with more inspiration rather than just logic, right? Not just leaning in logic and reason. It feels like you could receive answers, wisdom, understanding, discernment through dreams. So keep that in mind. If some of you have an interesting dream, look at the meaning of it, because I feel like it's going to be trying to tell you something. But on the lighter side of this, it's sort of like thinking outside the box, leaning into innovation, new ways forward, seeing the truth of something and putting a different spin on it so that you have a better sense of how to move forward. And it's like you haven't connected to it just yet. It's been on the periphery, it feels like. But I do think that you will, because we've got 4 of Cups in reverse. And normally when it's up like this, you can't see the positive thing that's right there beside her, all this beautiful rainbow light. It's emotional contentment, happiness, joy, positivity, feeling fulfilled in all kinds of ways. It's in the reverse, suggesting you can get to this, but it starts here with this Page of Cups energy, right? Being dreamy, letting yourself go there, thinking and dreaming like a child, allowing intuition to kind of take hold, to giving ourselves over to I keep saying out of the box thinking, but it's not necessarily that. It's like giving ourselves over to not just daydreaming and actual dreaming, but almost like third eye vision, like intuition, but on steroids. It feels like I'm having a hard time describing what I'm feeling here. I feel like you guys could receive some sort of major intuitive hit that comes through your third eye, like a vision that you should trust and lean into, and it will help your situation not just feel more fiscally and financially stable and balanced, but there's this emotional joy and happiness and inspiration that comes with it, that flow energy, that prosperity. Because we've got, with embracing the flow of life and the King of Pentacles in the reverse, this frustration here, right? I don't feel secure. I don't feel stable. I don't feel like everything's happening as fast as it should. I'm frustrated because I feel like I've seen the truth of some things where there was some dishonesty, money being leaked out in some way or lost, through some sort of like lying or mental manipulation. Needing to get some closure around this, letting it go and focusing on the positive, and that you've seen the truth of a situation or that you're about to, which is going to bring in more stability, I think, for you in all kinds of ways. Because 4 of Wands is a reason to celebrate. Things are starting to turn in your favor. Things are going well. Passion ignited, having received this vision, this wisdom, this understanding, truth about a thing. And then having the strength and fortitude to keep going with it, to trust what comes through, to stay focused on what's working and the positive things, to not give up. I sound like a motivational speaker now. But yeah, it's like ships coming in, something positive wants to show up, something that's very inspiring and brings in that energy of prosperity and love as a result, like this joyfulness, this lovey, emotional fulfillment. And it does feel like for some of you, this has either been lacking for some time, or you're heading into some sort of energy where you're going to see where that lack is, that truth revealed without tact, I want to say. And rather than focus on the negative thing around this and the frustration and what it means you're going to have to end, cut, sever, focusing on the positive that you've seen it so you can move forward much better, much stronger, where you're going to walk into prosperity. That's sort of like the heads up I feel you're getting with this reading, message 3. I feel like trust and faith keeps coming to my mind. I almost wonder if some of you have been dealing with not trusting and having enough faith in yourself as of late. Something that needs to be sorted out and brought into better balance for you guys. Oh, actually, I got ahead of myself. I'm going to leave those there because they're ready for when I am ready for them. I forgot about my moon cards here. Okay, I have a card that flew right out. So I'm going to have to pick that one up. I'm just going to pause to pick up that card, guys. Sorry about that, guys. This card that flew on the floor is quite interesting. It says, I let go of the anxieties of others. When we surround ourselves with people who hold polar beliefs, are more negative in nature, can only see the hard things and the difficulties moving forward, it is very difficult to not absorb that. I feel like that's a part of the equation, especially with that Seven of Swords, like mental manipulation energy. So be really mindful of that. Ask yourself when you're in frustration or hardship or if something comes up, is this mine or somebody else's? And then ask to be cleared of it. I only hold on to the energy that's mine, my emotions, my feelings, and let go of all others. Release them to that person and send it with love and light. I know that can sound kind of strange, but I really feel like that would be a good idea for you guys. I let go of the anxiety of others, right? Right, with that focus on the positive. Almost like others could be bringing you down. I know myself deeply and find myself worthy. Absolutely. And I feel like it's that disconnect of not trusting yourself that I was feeling. Having lost a little faith and trust in yourself, get back into the energy where you know what's best, that you will get into flow, that you will see this prosperity, that you are going in the right direction, that your hard work will pay off. I accept that here now is exactly where I am, and that is a place of profound learning. Yes, embracing the flow of life, right? It's sort of like, as much as a lot of us hate to hear it, it is what it is. Accept what is, and then you can move forward from that place. I accept that here now is exactly where I am, and that is a place of profound learning. Yeah. Sort of like framing everything as a lesson rather than just a really, really hard thing that felt like you should have had to deal with it, or a life sentence. I say that all the time. It was a lesson, not a life sentence. Like, don't beat yourself up if you didn't see something before and now you're seeing it. It's that kind of energy that I keep coming back to for you guys. Okay, I already shuffled these, so I'm just going to go ahead and flip the cards. Okay, 1s and 5s. So 1551, pay attention to the sequence of numbers or any sequence of these numbers because they're going to be speaking to you in some kind of way. Longing, technology, ambition, genius, forward thinking, stress, and depression. You have more control over your life than you realize. Learn and execute what interests you. Turn things around. It gets better with time. There are plenty of friends to make, so chill out, have fun, and open up. It says go outside. So that's something that would be very beneficial for you guys. And this goes so well with the rest of the reading, right? Your hard work will pay off. Forward thinking required, going with the flow. Getting closure around something, letting something go, having seen the truth, though I think it was a difficult truth about something, or this could potentially be coming your way. Either way, you have more control over your life than you think. You have the potential to turn everything around, and it says there are plenty of friends to make. So good connections, beneficial connections could be coming your way. So be open to that too. Message 3 that could help you in your situation. Okay, we've got 2s and 3s. So another sequence or combination of numbers that could be speaking to you at this time. 2s bring in balance, harmony, and often at times they could bring, yes, energy. And 3 is creativity, ascended masters coming in, where we might want to call that energy when we need help with a very specific thing that requires innovation and creativity. Makes me think of that Page of Cups card there. Karma, warning, judgment, influence, power, cycles, changes, and rebirth. Karma will be paying you a visit. Release the need to control because you cannot force things. Learn your lessons so that you don't repeat in the future. Make some space for new experiences. Profound learning. And it's saying judgment. So it's using good sound judgment too. This makes me feel like if you have not already experienced a shakeup of sorts, something that you didn't see coming, or a mistake that you may have made that has caused some problems or upheaval. This is not a life sentence, as I said. It's just a lesson. If you can learn from it, use sound judgment, you will move forward into the energy of prosperity. This situation doesn't want to see you give up, though. It wants to see you keep going, keep working hard, and know that on the other side of this is prosperity, connection, emotional fulfillment, financial fulfillment, passion and inspiration being ignited. There's a reason these things had to happen. It's a cyclical thing, and you're going to move through it. Yeah, and it says so that you learn your lessons so that you don't repeat them in the future. Make some space for new experiences. So really being open to a new way forward. Message 3, because a lot of this energy of out of the box thinking is coming up. And this full moon in Scorpio is so supportive of connecting to what that could look like, to what that could be. The truth, spiritual connection, receiving messages and wisdom. And I feel like this is coming for you as well. Message 3. I keep wanting to say message 2. That's strange. Okay. Yeah. So it's like, whatever hard thing that you've bumped up against, whatever thing that's been going sideways or not working out for you, it's because there's a better way through and forward. There's a better solution. There's more ideas, more creative innovation that you could be leaning into. You just haven't got there yet. It's not a signpost to give up on this thing, though. I feel like that's the biggest message here for you guys. Look at that, revealer of truth. And you've got that Seven of Swords, seeing the truth around something that could be difficult. Coyote, don't take things too seriously. Make time to play. Great wisdom comes from laughing at your own folly, as in your own mistakes. Look out for the traps and tricks of life and learn from them. Wow. Yeah, that's a big message for you guys. Revealer of truth. Coyote energy coming in. And it's trickster medicine too, that it tells us not to take ourselves so seriously, to just frame mistakes. It's just that, well, I'm human. I made a mistake. I'm going to figure out how to move through this. I didn't see that truth or that thing that was happening. It didn't work out. Maybe I lost money as a result, or there's been frustration as a result, but I can turn this around. I've got this, right? You really, really do. Message 3. You've got that wisdom. And as it says, look out for the traps and tricks of life and learn from them. Yeah. And be mindful to not go into full panic mode and absorbing the anxieties of others, especially if this thing has not come to fruition, because this full moon could be the thing that reveals that truth, because this Scorpio full moon is very good for bringing truths to the surface, and they can cause drama and emotional intensity and reactions, conflict. So be very careful of that. You have a way forward and through this situation, if you're willing to frame it as a lesson, something to learn, something to understand, so that moving forward, you do even better and you can turn everything around as a result. Okay, I think I'm going to leave that there. I hope that all of you have the most amazing, beautiful day. Take care, guys. Hello, message 4. So I went ahead and pulled the main overarching energies, but we will look at them together. I just do that to save a little bit of time in the video. Okay, a time for healing, and it's balsamic moon energy. This full moon in Scorpio is really good for healing out energy, old stuff, old baggage too, especially if things from the past resurface. Either way, though, a time for healing for you, releasing. Giving yourself over to meditation would probably be a really good idea for my message 4 choosers. A full moon in Pisces, and it says forgive, and it's on the side of challenge. Okay. So healing out unforgiveness, where we might be holding on to past mistakes, regrets from others that have affected us greatly, leaning into forgiving for ourselves so that we're no longer carrying that energy around with us. It's never for the other person, and I say that all the time. It's always for our own benefit, so that, again, we're not moving forward holding on to the emotional energy and baggage from the past. It definitely feels like it's connected to the past for some of you. Where might you need to allow yourself to forgive so that you can begin to heal? Okay. New moon in Taurus. It says, know your worth. Wow. Okay. A time for healing, forgiving energy here, and also knowing your worth. Okay. And this is coming on the side of like spiritual advice. Know your worth. There's an energy of making sure that moving forward, you're not settling for less than what it is you deserve, whether this is in love, relationship, friendship, or career. Allowing yourself time to heal, to release unforgivingness from your heart, to lean into forgiveness for yourself, not for those that have hurt you, and coming back to center and connection with your power, your strength, your beauty, what you bring to the world, your light, not dimming it for anybody, so that you can really see what you're worth. And then you start attracting that to you. Message 4. Know your worth. I just keep wanting to say, don't settle for less than you deserve in any situation. whatever this healing situation is that you need to be leaning into at this time. And like I said, this full moon in Scorpio is excellent, excellent, excellent for healing and receiving healing. But whatever it is that you need to heal out, it feels like it's preparing you for something better moving forward, whether this is a connection or a community, a new job, a new situation. It feels important that you give yourself over to this. And, you know, for some of you, if you haven't experienced whatever this is, this hurt or this pain, and it's triggered under this full moon, this is the heads up from Spirit to say, okay, now you've seen the truth around something. You can see how this has affected you. You have two choices. You can go into anger and frustration and maybe block up your heart, hold on to it, and then move forward with these barriers up. Or you can lean in, go into healing, go into forgiving energy, because knowing your worth is what's going to bring you this beautiful attraction of situation and people, good things, good people, right? And we always have the free will to choose which direction we're going to go in. And it's very easy to choose kind of blocking ourselves up. Turtling up is what I always call it. And it feels like it's keeping ourselves safe and protected. But for whatever reason, I can't shake the fact that that's the last thing you're going to want to do, even though this leaning into this kind of healing energy is hard. Because it does seem to me that your self-esteem has been greatly affected by somebody else or others, more than one. Healing. Healing, and it's coming on the side of challenge. So this feels to me like it's not a new thing. You've already been in this pain, in this hurt, and it really has affected your energy field, your ability to be open and more trusting and to connect to positive self-esteem and really know your worth. And this could be telling you that if we're not careful here, if we don't give ourselves time to heal this and get back into a place of positive self-esteem, self-empowerment, we may continue to attract situations, people, places that take advantage of the beauty that you are, the light that you are. Because I get a sensitive energy here from you guys. Being quite sensitive, you're probably empathic, you're probably somebody who feels the emotions of others and tends to give more than you receive. Beauty. Yeah, your self-esteem has really taken a hit. Here, a message for not seeing the beauty that you are, the light that you are, the profound, beautiful energy that you bring to others just by being yourself. I almost feel there's a bit of a disconnect from the true self that you are, your authenticity to some degree because of whatever's happened to make you feel less than. Really time to change this energy around. Utilize this full moon in Scorpio to reconnect to your beauty, your inner light, what you bring to the table, to the energy of self-worth and empowerment. Remembering that it starts with that forgiving energy. And I want to say, for some of you, forgiving doesn't mean that you are saying that anything that has happened has been okay, because it wasn't. It just says that I'm no longer willing to carry this baggage and burden around as a truth for me anymore. I'm not going to claim it as a true thing, that what happened and what they did means something about me or what I deserve, because it doesn't. I feel like I'm missing something, but I'm just going to go ahead and pull some cards and see what else comes up. It's that feeling like I'm missing, that I need to say something and I haven't said it. This definitely feels like a lot of you may have been burned in a connection, especially with beauty, healing, and forgiveness showing up here. Sometimes it can be a community or family situation too, and leaving us feeling like that card just flew out. We don't have anybody, and that we don't want to even begin to trust others again with our hearts. I almost feel like some of you had some nasty words said to you about maybe even that card. Oh, geez. Okay. I'm going to redo that because that did not go to plan. What was I saying here now? I feel like nasty words said, maybe related to how you look to, and that can cause us to to shut down, to shut off, and kind of hide in the shadows and not allow ourselves to really be seen. Okay, so this card fell out first. Ace of Swords. Okay, not being able to hear the truth of a thing, not being able to shut off the noise in your mind or connect to something that's higher. Like that spiritual connection that says this is the way through and forward, this is how you begin healing, not feeling connected to that. Loud mind comes to my mind for you guys. Replaying too. Yeah, Four of Wands. Not feeling inspired, passionate, connected, like you have your tribe or people or a solid foundation, like you're moving towards any kind of victory. And this energy that's needed to get back into these energies in a positive way is allowing for healing, is releasing, is forgiving, is knowing your worth and not settling for less than you deserve, seeing the truth and beauty of who you are. Three of Wands in reverse, right? And, you know, when it's upright, we're in contemplation mode. We're considering something new, being inspired and saying, okay, I might be getting ready to go forth and do something different. I'm having inspired action. When it's in the reverse here, it suggests that you might have even come to some sort of idea, inspiration, wisdom, but maybe you've potentially shut it down, keeping you disconnected because of all the energies that are showing up here. But if it's showing up, I think it's because there's potential for you to reconnect to that. Something inspiring, something passionate, a new way forward, maybe even a new connection for some of you. If this has been related to a romantic partnership or falling out with friends, family, something of that to that degree. Because it does feel like that could be a thing. Because we've got Wands and Wands here and that Four, right? With that solid foundation, feeling very disconnected from your tribe, your people, positive connection. Page of Pentacles in reverse. So there's a really big, strong energy call, advice from Spirit that it's time to go into center. It's time to get back into balance and quiet your mind to do the healing work. Because until you've given yourself over to doing this healing work and strengthening your sense of self-worth and self-esteem, it's sort of like you're going to always stay on the periphery and be in the shadows a little bit, where you're not making these beautiful connections. You're not connecting to passion and inspiration because we're so shut down due to traumatic things that have happened, due to nastiness from others. But trying to find your way back into center and balance to who you truly are, to your authenticity, is what the big ask is here for you guys. It sounds awful, but the only way out is through. Bisons, they have to, if they sense a storm coming, they don't go in the opposite direction to avoid the storm. They turn around and they face the storm and they go through it. So they get through the storm faster than if they just keep going in the opposite way, running from it. There's something to that here for me, for you guys. The only way out is through. You might have to turn and face these hard things. And I do feel like it's going to be hard, maybe even triggering for some of you, but it's going to be so worth it in the end. Because you'll come out on the other side feeling yourself again, authentic, beautiful, worthy, deserving. And from that space and that energy, you start drawing all these beautiful people, situations, and energies towards you. We've got the Page of Cups in reverse, right? And then with Ace of Swords up here, mentally not being able to cut through the noise and connect to higher mind and wisdom, to truth, and not being able to dream the big dream, allowing ourselves to emotionally go there, like that energy of when pigs fly, everything's possible, not feeling this at all, feeling very shut down emotionally, mentally, and with inspiration and passion. There's a lot of blocks happening here. And to know your worth is to start sorting these energies out and making your self-care and how you feel about yourself a huge priority. And like I said at the start, this full moon in Scorpio is so good for connecting to healing energy. It's one of the best and most positive ways to utilize this full moon. Is for healing, introspection, understanding, coming to the truth, seeing things differently, letting go and releasing of old things, situations, stories. And this is absolutely what you want to be leading into at this time message for. Look at that. I went to go put these cards down to get my next set of cards, and it's the King of Pentacles upright. Feeling very empowered, strong, centered, ready to go with that dog there beside him, that loyalty, something loyal, something faithful at your side. I feel like there's a potential for you to call in loyal connection, partnership, and all these things are on solid ground, strong foundation, trustworthy. Where that loyalty has been missing, I feel like for a lot of you for a long time, by way of people and situations, that wants to come in. That's what's on the other side of this healing energy. It feels like almost like you have the potential to call in soul family, soul tribe, kindred spirits, a soulmate of some sort. Oop. I accept renewal and delight in fresh starts. New moon energy, embracing new things. 100% this, right? Once we've done this healing work and we give ourselves over to it, it is renewing. And that's exactly what wants to show up for you, the sense of renewal. I accept renewal and delight in fresh starts. New beginnings can be fun if we frame them as exciting, if we frame the unknown as exciting. Most of us frame it as scary, but... I explore my wildness and dance in pleasure. And you know, it's funny because this feels like, and it's long overdue for you to give yourself over to this kind of energy. And once you've lightened that load and you've released this emotional baggage and energy, that's exactly what you're going to have the opportunity to do, right? New, delighting in fresh starts, exploring your wildness, enjoying life. I explore my wildness and dance in pleasure. I am connected to the earth and all life around me. There's a strong energy here of not being grounded as well, message 4, especially with that Page of Pentacles in reverse and that King of Pentacles that I showed that was the underbelly of the deck being, you know, something that you want to get to, needing to be really grounded. I feel like for you guys, some grounding meditations, starting at the root, but then working your way up through your entire energy system would be a really good idea for you. Because after the root is the sacral. And in the sacral, we hold emotions. That's where our self-worth and self-esteem are, emotional balance or imbalance, creativity and inspiration. And that has shown up here too. So I think doing an alignment, releasing blocks that are held in our chakra system would be a really good idea for you, starting from the root up. And then kind of ending that all off with going back into grounding and centeredness again. Just an idea. For those of you that struggle with doing meditation, you could do nature walks, walk barefoot in the grass if you have the ability to do that. Journaling out all of your feelings, all of your anger so that you release it from your body and say, I'm now open to a new way, to seeing things differently, to reconnecting to my authentic self. It feels like spiritually, you've got a lot of spiritual warriors on your side right now that want to bring you this more positive energy. They're like, we're here and we're ready to help you release this and let it go because we're going to bring you some good things on the other side of this harder energy that you've been in. All right. Let me pull some more cards here. Yeah, there's like a big lack of emotional fulfillment here for my three fours. And you know, I don't know why, but there's something about mending bonds here for some of you. And if that's showing up, it's because there's potential for it to be mended in a good way, not in a way where you're sacrificing. That is not going to resonate with all of you, but it's just something that I feel might be true for some of you watching this. Ooh, 808 ancestors. I think you've got a lot of spiritual helpers and warriors around you right now. Balance, power, struggle, force, violent, hope, ancestors, low vibrations, and warning. And we can already see here that you've been in a low vibration. Pay close attention to the people in your life, your surroundings, and your physical health. Don't freak out. It's just a warning to be careful and awake to avoid any further issues. Communicate clearly and keep healthy boundaries. Okay, so there's another little piece of the puzzle here for you guys. Pay attention to 8s and 0s, God force energy, karma, but also it can be new beginnings as a result of positive karma coming your way. And abundance. Abundance is also connected to 8. Either way, this full moon could illuminate where you need better boundaries, where the company that you keep is not what's best for you, and how they may affect the way you feel about yourself, how you see yourself, how they may dim your light. And you might come into a truth where you have to make a hard decision to pivot away from these people if this energy has not already been prevalent for you. I do think it has been for some of you, but for some of you, it could be that you've been feeling this emotional disconnect, this dissonance, and you have this realization that it is connected to some of the company you keep, and it's time to make the hard decision to walk away. And this says communicate clearly and keep healthy boundaries. And it says that this is a bit of a warning to be careful and awake to avoid further issues, right? So, and I also get the sense that for some of you, some arguments and fights with people are not worth exploring. They're not worth leaning into because you're just going to end up more frustrated and more hurt. That's a message, I think, for some of you. If you have this desire to kind of clear the air and get it off your chest because you think it might make you feel better, be mindful under the Scorpio full moon energy because it just might make the situation more difficult. You're better off to lean in and add back and work on you. Calling in your ancestors at this time too, because I think they're very strongly around you. It almost feels like this could be a pattern for some of you in your bloodlines, where this heavy energy, where you're not surrounding yourself with the right people who see your worth and support you and are completely comfortable with you being who you are as you are all the time, being a thing that has been in the bloodlines, where you're always having to dim your light a little bit or shape shift to make other people more comfortable or adapt to their way of thinking. It's that kind of energy. I think you might have the ability to break this pattern. Message 4. Wow, this forgiveness energy. Look at all the 6s. Now, don't get scared. 6, everyone always associates it with the mark of the beast, but 6s are really the number of balance and harmony. So there's a lot of imbalance and disharmony right now, and it's forgiveness again. Self-awareness, forgiveness, professionalism, empathy, tenacity, and freedom. Let go of what no longer serves you. Stop holding on to grudges. Express your emotions and aim towards a compromise. Where there's a lack of understanding, it's best to just move on. The truth will set you free. It's best to just move on, right? That's what I was trying to say. Don't pick fights. Let go of the anger, the hurt, the pain, and the grudge, not for them, but for you, and move forward. There is something better people, better situations, better partnerships, all the things. Yeah, really letting go and going into forgiveness. So beneficial for you guys at this time. But I do understand how difficult that is to do, especially when this has affected your sense of self, your authenticity, your sense of self-worth, all those kinds of things. Action. Okay, we've got pronghorn. Now is the time to act. Opportunities are here. Move forward with confidence. Your talents will always help you land on the pinnacle. Your quick wit and keen sense will lead you to success. You know what's funny? I feel like this card, this kind of energy has eluded you for a long time, where you have not felt connected to this, but you're coming into a time, if you give yourself over to healing, ebb back, allow forgiveness to take hold and take root within you so that you can become whole again. This is where you get to. It's a beautiful and card to end with for this after all this more difficult, heavy emotional energy. Now is the time to act. Opportunities are here. Move forward with confidence. Your talents will always help you land on the pinnacle. Your quick wit and keen senses will lead you to success. Yeah. Sort of like finally receiving just rewards that are finally due to you as a result of you clearing this energy out. On the other side of this is a lot of empowerment and opportunity. So if you never needed a reason to lean into healing and allowing yourself to know and trust that it's the most beneficial thing that you can do for yourself, this is it. All right, guys, I am going to leave that there. I hope that you all have an amazing, beautiful day. Take care, guys.